You talk too damn much. That's your curse. You think words fix things. You think noise fills the emptiness. You think by explaining yourself, screaming, begging, apologizing, you'll get a little piece of what you lost. Pathetic. They heard you the first time, genius. They just didn't give a damn. And you kept talking, louder, softer, sweeter, angrier. Didn't matter. They tuned you out like cheap background noise. Want to know the ugly truth? Nobody listens to the desperate. Nobody respects the one who bleeds all over the floor just to prove he's still alive. You ever seen a king scream for validation? Number he sits, silent, cold, calculating. His silence cuts deeper than 1,000 words ever could. You're busy wasting your breath on people who already decided you're replaceable. That's the punchline. You became your own clown, trying to earn attention, trying to get respect, trying to be enough. And the whole time, they watched you crumble, and they smiled. You don't get it, do you? Noise is weakness. Noise is the soundtrack of the lost. Real power lives in silence. Real revenge is built in the quiet hours when nobody's watching. Real respect is demanded by absence, not by presence. They don't miss the ones who cry the loudest. They miss the ones who vanish like ghosts. You want to break them? Be quiet. You want to haunt them? Be quiet. You want to remind them that they gambled everything and lost the best thing they ever had? Be quiet. Silence is surgical. It's precise. It infects their mind. It claws at their pride. It forces them to sit alone with what they did. Every second you stay silent, you are shoving a mirror in their face. Every day you don't chase, you don't text, you don't show up. You're making them choke on their own guilt, their own loss, their own regret. You want to win? Then shut up and vanish. Let your silence scream louder than any apology or revenge plan you could ever think of. Let me tell you something about humans. They hate silence. It scares them, makes them paranoid, makes them invent stories in their heads, ugly ones. Did he move on? Did he forget me? Did I really matter? Good. Let them rot in that uncertainty. That's better than any insult you could ever throw. You see, the loud ones, they get laughed at. They get pitied. But the silent ones, they get feared. You want to be a ghost in their mind? You want to be the what if that keeps them awake at night? You want to be the regret they can't fix? Then zip it. Close your damn mouth. Stop feeding them the comfort of knowing you still care. Let your absence choke them like smoke in a burning room. Let it suffocate them slow. That's real justice. That's real strength. That's real winning. Not yelling, not fighting, not crying. Just silence. Heavy, punishing silence. You think showing them your pain is strength? Nah. It's a circus act. It's entertainment. They don't feel guilty. They feel powerful. They broke you, and you put on a show for them. Round of applause. You gotta learn, kid. Emotions are currency. And when you show too much, you bankrupt yourself. They see you as cheap, easy, predictable. Real monsters, the ones they remember. They bleed in private. They cry in the dark. They rebuild behind closed doors. And when they reappear, they don't come back to explain. They come back to conquer. They come back unrecognizable. They come back colder, sharper, deadlier. That's who you need to become. Not this weeping puppy begging for scraps. You need to disappear, sharpen your claws, and when you come back, let your success be the only noise you make, nothing else. They don't deserve your words. They don't deserve your explanations. They don't deserve the pieces of you that still love them enough to care. You owe them nothing. You gave them a seat at your table, and they set the place on fire. You gave them trust, and they used it like a weapon against you. So why are you still handing them matches? Why are you still standing in the ruins, trying to explain yourself? Wake up, burn it all down, quietly. Rebuild your empire, silently. Let them drive themselves mad trying to figure out how they lost you. Let them search for your ghost in everyone else they meet, and let them find nothing but shadows. You want to punish them? You want to truly make them regret it? Then leave without a damn word. That's how kings move. That's how legends are made. Quiet, ruthless, final. You keep thinking they'll understand one day, that maybe, if you explain it better, they'll realize what they lost. They won't. Some people are too stupid to realize the value of gold until they're left with dust. You cannot save them from their own blindness. Stop trying. You're only humiliating yourself at this point. Get up. Shut up. Walk away. Let time do your talking for you. Let silence be your legacy. Let regret be the poison they drink every night before bed. That's how you win. Not by talking, not by arguing, not by crying, by being quiet. You ever notice how the ones who hurt you the most are the first ones to act like you owe them something? Like your silence is some kind of debt they can call in whenever their guilt starts eating them alive. They expect you to show up broken, explaining yourself like a criminal begging for mercy. They expect you to apologize for making them feel bad about what they did. They expect you to dance for them one last time so they can patch their ego and move on. You want to know the only answer they deserve? Silence. No closure, no goodbyes, no long speeches. You walk away like they're already dead to you. And that's what they fear the most. Not your anger, not your sadness, your indifference. That's the real dagger. When they realize they don't even matter enough to be hated anymore, that's when it hits them. That's when the walls close in. That's when their own actions start screaming louder than any words you could ever say. You don't owe them a damn thing, kid. You don't owe anyone an explanation for growing stronger without them. And let me tell you something else. When you go quiet, they'll come back. Oh yeah, they'll crawl back. They always do. But not because they love you, not because they changed. No, they'll come back because your silence scares them, because your absence creates a void they can't fill. They'll send a text, a call, a weak little hey after months of radio silence, hoping you'll break first, hoping you'll still be that wounded puppy desperate for a crumb. Don't fall for it. Don't answer. Don't engage. Be cold. Be silent. Let them talk to the empty air. Let their words bounce back and haunt them. That's your revenge. Not giving them a stage to act out their fake remorse. People don't change because you explain things better. People change when life guts them, when silence wraps around their neck like a noose. Be that silence. Tighten it every day, you stay gone. That's how you win. Not by talking, not by hoping, by vanishing like you never needed them in the first place. You think healing is loud? You think it's some grand speech, some public victory? No, kid. Healing is silent. Healing is ugly and quiet and private. It's late nights when no one's there. It's sitting with your anger until it doesn't own you anymore. It's rebuilding your empire with blood on your hands and no witnesses. Healing is when you stop needing them to hurt like you hurt. Healing is when you stop trying to prove they lost something. Healing is when you realize that the silence isn't for them anymore. It's for you. It's your sanctuary. It's your battlefield. It's where you sharpen your teeth for the next war. And trust me, there's always another war coming. You better be ready. You better be ruthless. You better be colder than you've ever been, because the world doesn't care about your wounds. It only respects the ones who turned their scars into armor. Be that. Be the storm they didn't see coming. And don't make a sound while you rise. They'll tell you you changed. Good. That's the point. Change so hard they can't recognize you anymore. Change so cold they can't find the version of you that would have forgiven them. Let them miss the old you. The one who waited, who begged, who broke. Bury that version deep. Mourn it if you have to. But don't you ever resurrect it for anyone. Not for love, not for closure, not for some stupid fantasy of making things right. Some things aren't meant to be fixed. Some bridges are meant to be burned, so you never cross back into the hell you fought so hard to escape. And when you walk away, don't look back. Not once. Not even for a second. Let the fire consume it all. Let the silence be your funeral song for the boy who used to cry for people who never deserved him. Let the ashes be your trophy. You survived. You learned. You changed. That's your revenge. That's your victory. In silence. You want to know the saddest part? The world is full of people who won't realize what they had until it's rotting 6 feet under. And you You're busy trying to wake the dead. Waste of time. Some people don't deserve a second chance at you. Some people don't deserve the explanation, don't deserve the apology, don't deserve the closure. Let them sit with their bad choices. Let them explain themselves to the silence you leave behind. That's the real punishment. That's the real justice. Not screaming, not fighting, not endless, pathetic conversations that go nowhere. Just silence. The kind that echoes. The kind that rattles the bones. The kind that builds a legend out of your absence. That's the kind of power you need to master. Not words, not speeches. Silence. And listen real close, because this part is where most fools slip. You don't just shut your mouth toward them. You shut your mouth about them. You don't sit around whining to your friends, posting sad little quotes, throwing passive shots online, hoping they'll see it and feel bad. That's weakness. That's noise. That's still you bleeding in public, still you feeding them pieces of yourself. Stop that. Real silence, real power. It's clean. It's pure. It's private. You don't cry for an audience. You cry behind closed doors, wipe your face, and walk out like nothing touches you anymore. You don't tell the world they hurt you. You don't broadcast your sadness looking for sympathy. You deal with it alone, like a monster sharpening its claws in the dark. Because the minute you start making noise about them, you hand them power again. You make them relevant in your story, and they don't deserve to be part of your future. They belong buried, nameless, faceless, forgotten. Their story ends the moment you stop speaking their name. You think I'm being cold? Good. You need to be cold. The world doesn't hand out medals for the brokenhearted. It doesn't slow down because you're hurting. It doesn't reward the one who loved the most. It respects the one who survived the worst. You're not here to be understood anymore. You're not here to make them see the good in you. You're here to become the ghost they can't outrun. Every time they laugh, every time they celebrate, every time they post their fake little victories, they'll feel that hollowness where you used to be. They'll feel the weight of your silence pressing down on their chest. They'll smile for the crowd and die a little inside when they realize the one thing they can't replace is the one thing they threw away. And the best part? You'll never have to lift a finger. You won't have to fight, won't have to scream, won't have to prove anything. Just stay quiet. Stay gone. Stay dangerous. You want an example? Look at history. Look at the real monsters, the real legends. They didn't waste time explaining themselves. They didn't sit in the mud crying for someone to notice them. They moved in silence. They planned in silence. They rose in silence. And by the time the world noticed them, it was too late. Their silence became their crown. Their absence became their weapon. You think they cared who understood them? You think they lost sleep over people who couldn't see their worth? Number. They stayed ruthless. They stayed cold. They stayed silent until it was time to strike. And when they did, oh boy, the world remembered. You need to build that same storm inside you, that same quiet fury, that same deadly patience. Because talking is cheap, crying is cheaper. But silence, real, unbreakable silence, that's priceless. That's unforgettable. That's how you carve your name into the bones of everyone who doubted you. You're gonna want to break, I know. You're gonna feel that itch to send a text, to make a call, to post something you hope they'll see. Don't. That's the trap. That's your weakness trying to drag you back into the mud. You gotta chain that part of yourself up. Beat it bloody if you have to. Lock it in a dark room and leave it there. Because every time you break your silence, you hand them victory. You show them you're still bleeding, still hurting, still stuck. And that's exactly what they want. They don't care about your pain. They feed off it. It makes them feel powerful, important. It confirms they still have a piece of you. Don't give them that satisfaction. Let them wonder. Let them rot in the unanswered questions. Be the scar they can't explain away. Be the ghost they can't exorcise. Stay quiet. Stay deadly. Stay above it all. And when the day comes, and it will, when they finally realize what they lost, when they try to come crawling back with their cheap apologies and crocodile tears, you'll smile. Not because you're bitter, not because you're vengeful, but because you won, because you survived, because you became something bigger, something colder, something they can't even touch anymore. You'll look at them and feel nothing. No rage, no sadness, just a cold, empty space where their memory used to live. That's the true revenge, kid. Not making them hurt, not making them beg, becoming someone they'll never deserve to meet again. And the beauty of silence, it doesn't just hurt them, it heals you. Slowly, painfully, but surely. Every day you stay quiet is a day you reclaim a piece of yourself they tried to break. Every second you resist the urge to reach out is another brick in the fortress you're building inside your chest. You stop bleeding. You stop hoping. You stop wasting your fire on people too blind to see it. And that, kid, that's when you become dangerous. When you don't need their apology. When you don't need their validation. When you don't need anything from them except their absence. That's when you start to realize they were never your whole world. They were just a lesson. A harsh, brutal lesson, carved into your soul so deep you'll never forget it. And trust me, you won't. Not because you're bitter, no, but because pain is a hell of a teacher. Because betrayal burns brands into your bones that no apology can ever erase. And you, my friend, are going to learn to love that burn. You're going to use it, mold it, forge it into armor so cold, so unbreakable, that no one ever gets close enough to hurt you like that again. You think silence is easy? It's not. It's war. It's the hardest damn thing you'll ever do. It's sitting with your own demons in a dark room and refusing to scream for help. It's facing every memory, every what if, every ghost that whispers, maybe it was your fault, and telling them to shut the hell up. It's choosing yourself over the easy high of temporary attention. It's killing the part of you that still believes in fairy tales, in second chances, in happy endings written by cowards who didn't fight for you the first time. It's bloody, it's messy, it's lonely, but it's worth it. Because when you walk through that fire and you come out the other side, there's nothing, and I mean nothing, they can ever do to you again. They can gossip, they can lie, they can pretend you never mattered, doesn't touch you, you're already gone, you're already untouchable, you're already living so far above them. They need a telescope just to spot the crater you left behind. But you gotta stay quiet, no matter what, no matter how bad it hurts, no matter how many nights you sit there, fists clenched, heart pounding, dying to say something. Don't. Every second you resist, it's a silent victory. Every day you stay ghost, it's another nail in the coffin of what they thought they killed inside you. You're rebuilding yourself out of rage, out of cold, out of a hunger that silence sharpens like a blade. And one day, when they finally realize you're not coming back, when it finally hits them that the access they had to your soul is gone forever, they'll break. Oh, they'll pretend they're fine. They'll laugh a little louder, post a little more, smile a little harder. But it's fake. It's desperation. It's their way of trying to outrun the silence that's chasing them down. And they won't win. Because silence never stops. Silence hunts. Silence suffocates. You see, people like that, the ones who hurt you and expect you to beg for scraps, they aren't built for silence. They're built for noise, drama, attention. They thrive on reactions, on chaos. And when you go dark, when you go completely silent, they starve. Their ego rots. Their games fall apart. Without your energy feeding their sickness, they collapse in on themselves. It doesn't happen overnight. It's slow. It's cruel. But it's inevitable. And when it happens, when they're sitting alone, surrounded by the mess they made, they'll think of you. Not the words you said, not the tears you shed, not the arguments, the explanations, the desperate speeches. They'll remember the silence, the cold absence, the way you vanished without a trace. And they'll finally understand, maybe too late, maybe when they're already drowning, but they'll understand. You were the prize. You were the goal. You were the best damn thing they ever fumbled. And now, you're just a ghost that never speaks. And here's the cruel trick most people never tell you. Silence doesn't just break them. It breaks you too. At first, it strips you bare. It forces you to face yourself without the distractions, without the fake promises, without the lies you told yourself to keep from falling apart. And that's why most people don't survive it. That's why they run back to the very people who destroyed them, hoping for a little relief from the quiet. They can't handle the emptiness, the slow echo of their own heartbeat in the dark. They'd rather beg. They'd rather settle. They'd rather shrink themselves to fit inside the tiny, dirty little boxes someone else built for them. But you, if you're listening to me, you're not going to be one of them. You're going to sit in that darkness until it stops scaring you. You're going to let it hollow you out until there's nothing left but steel and fire. You're going to let it kill the weak version of you, the one who needed validation, needed permission, needed a damn audience just to feel alive. That version of you is dead now, and good riddance. Mourn him if you want, but don't you dare try to resurrect him. You keep thinking love is supposed to save you, that it's supposed to fix all the broken parts inside you, that if you just find the right person, say the right words, act the right way, you'll finally get to breathe easy. Lieutenant, one of the biggest lies this world ever sold you. Love doesn't save anybody. Strength does. Discipline does. Self-respect does. Silence does. You think someone's gonna swoop in and heal you just because you loved them enough? No. That's not how it works. People love their own comfort, their own attention, their own selfish little worlds. They'll take and take and take from you until you're a hollow shell, and then when you're no longer fun to drain, they'll walk away without a second glance. And if you chase them, if you talk, if you explain, all you do is prove they were right to leave. You show them your value was cheap, easy, disposable. You want to change that? You want to make sure nobody ever treats you like that again? Then shut up, disappear, level up in silence. You think words have power? Maybe once, maybe in fairy tales. But in this world, words are cheap. Words are currency for the weak, the strong, the dangerous. They speak in silence. They speak through action, through presence, through absence. When you walk into a room and people feel the weight of everything you survived, that's power. When your enemies tremble because they don't know what you're thinking, don't know what you're planning, can't predict your next move, that's domination. You rob them of that when you talk too much. You give them the blueprint to destroy you. You hand them the matches and the gasoline and say, "Burn me again." Nah, no more of that. From now on, every word you don't say is another layer of armor. Every emotion you don't expose is another weapon sharpened. You don't owe them your thoughts. You don't owe them your feelings. You don't owe them your noise. All you owe yourself is victory. Cold, ruthless, undeniable victory. And let me make this real clear, because this is where it gets brutal. You are going to lose people you thought you couldn't live without. You are going to walk away from love that once felt like oxygen. You are going to bury dreams that once kept you alive. And it's going to hurt bad. It's going to rip pieces out of you that you swore you'd protect at all costs. But that pain, that loss, that silence afterward, that's the price of becoming untouchable. That's the toll you pay for crossing over into the life you actually deserve. And not everyone is willing to pay it. Most people would rather live half alive, chasing ghosts, whispering what ifs into the dark. But not you. If you want to survive, really survive, then you pay the price. You let the silence devour you. You let it strip you down to your bones. You let it remake you into something that can't be broken by the same hands that once fed you lies. That's the real transformation. That's the rebirth. And it doesn't happen with noise. It happens with stillness, with silence, with ruthless, painful, glorious silence. And after all the noise dies down, after the fake friends disappear, after the ones you would have burned the world for forget your name without flinching, you're going to be left alone with yourself, just you and your silence. That's when the real war starts. Not with them, with you. With the broken little boy inside you still waiting for someone to come save him. With the voice that tells you maybe you should have begged harder, loved louder, fought longer. Kill that voice. Starve it. Bury it under the rubble of everything you've survived. Because here's the thing. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's gonna scoop you up and fix the damage. You either save yourself or you rot. Simple, cold, real. You don't get to cry about it. You don't get to whine about fairness. Life doesn't owe you anything. Not love, not healing, not justice. You either get up or you stay down. And the people who threw you away, they're not losing sleep over your suffering. They're out there living, laughing, loving someone else without a second thought. You want to sit here and drown in your own tears? Be my guest. But if you want to become something savage, something legendary, something unforgettable, then you better shut up, stand up, and move in silence. Because silence, kid, silence builds legends. Silence builds monsters. Silence is what separates the ones who crumble from the ones who dominate. You want to be the storm they didn't see coming? Then disappear from their world. Leave them talking to walls. Let them throw stones at a ghost they can't hurt anymore. Every day you don't respond, you're stealing another piece of their control. Every day you don't explain yourself, you're building a mystery they'll never solve. That's how you haunt them. Not with noise, not with revenge fantasies, not with sob stories, but with silence, relentless, deafening, merciless silence. And it'll kill them slowly. They'll check their phone 100 times a day, hoping for your name. They'll stalk your life from a distance, looking for signs that you're still broken. They'll tell themselves you're miserable without them, because the truth that you're thriving without them would crush what little pride they have left. Good. Let them choke on their fantasies. Let them rot, wondering what could have been. Let them die slowly, every damn day, without you lifting a single finger. And don't you dare break. Not when it gets hard. Not when the nights get cold and lonely. Not when the memories try to trick you into reaching out. You stay silent. You stay strong. You remember who the hell you're becoming. You remember why you started. You remember every time they made you feel like you weren't enough. Every time they laughed while you cried. Every time they looked right through you like you were nothing. Bottle that pain. Forge it into something unbreakable. Let it be the fire that keeps you warm when the silence feels like it's gonna swallow you whole. Because it's supposed to. That's part of the process. You're not dying. You're evolving. You're shedding the skin of the weak, desperate version of yourself they thought they could destroy. And when you emerge, cold, sharp, invincible, they won't recognize you. Hell, you won't even recognize yourself. And that's the point. That's the whole damn point. To become something they can never touch again. You're gonna feel like a ghost for a while. Like you're invisible. Like nothing matters. Good. Embrace it. Ghosts don't beg. Ghosts don't plead. Ghosts don't explain themselves. They haunt. They linger. They remind the living of their failures in silence. That's your role now. You're not here to prove anything to anyone. You're not here to explain why you deserved better. You're not here to win them back. You're here to become a reminder of everything they threw away. And trust me, they'll feel it. Maybe not today. Maybe not tomorrow. But one day, when the noise dies down, when the fake smiles fade, when the distractions stop working, your silence will hit them like a bullet between the eyes, and they'll realize, too late, that they lost something they can never replace, something they'll search for in every fake smile, every shallow love, every hollow victory, and never find. Because you're done being a story they can rewrite. You're done being a memory they can twist. You're done being an open wound they poke for their own amusement. From now on, you're just silence, heavy, unforgiving, eternal, dot. Oh. And here's another brutal truth you better carve into your soul. Not everyone deserves access to the version of you that's rebuilding right now. You hear me? Not everyone deserves the man that's being born in this silence. They lost their chance. They spit on it. They stomped on it. They laughed in your face when you were still bleeding out for them. So when you rise, when you become the weapon that silence is forging you into, you don't turn around and offer your hand back to the people who let you drown. You don't explain how much you suffered. You don't invite them to the victory party. You leave them outside. In the cold, in the dark, You let them hear the celebration through the locked doors they can never open again. That's justice. That's balance. That's life. You owe it to yourself to make sure your new world, the one you're building in the ruins, is free from the parasites that feasted on your pain. You owe it to yourself to guard it with your life, to protect your peace with violence if necessary, and you don't explain it to anyone. Silence. Always silence. Let them wonder why they're not welcome anymore. Let them choke on the silence you leave behind. You see, when you go quiet, when you stop explaining, when you stop showing your scars like a badge to people who mocked you, you take back the pen. You start writing your story without them. And trust me, they'll hate it. They'll hate the fact that you're living without them, thriving without them, winning without their approval. They'll throw dirt on your name. They'll twist your silence into cruelty. They'll paint themselves as victims in a story they authored with their own betrayal. Let them. You don't correct them. You don't argue with them. You don't give them the satisfaction of a reaction. Silence. Always silence. Because you're not here to convince anyone anymore. You're not here to clear your name. You're here to build an empire so undeniable that even your enemies have no choice but to respect your silence. And let me tell you, nothing eats at a traitor's soul faster than watching the one they broke become the one they can't touch anymore. You ever see how people act when you stop explaining yourself? It's funny. They start tripping over themselves. They start inventing lies just to make sense of the fact that you're not dancing to their tune anymore. They need a villain. They need someone to blame. Because if you're silent, if you're thriving, if you're not chasing them anymore, they have to face the ugly truth. They were the problem all along. And trust me, most of them can't stomach that. They'd rather spin stories, spread rumors, poison your name, all because your silence exposes them. And you don't stoop to their level. You don't defend yourself. You don't even acknowledge it. You stay silent. You stay focused. You stay dangerous. Let your results speak. Let your new life be the middle finger they can't ignore. Because nothing screams louder than a man who walks away from chaos and doesn't say a damn word. You want to know the real secret? Silence isn't just about them. It's about you. It's about starving the parts of you that needed their approval. It's about killing the urge to be understood by people too small to ever see you clearly. And it's about realizing you don't owe your heart to cowards. You don't owe your soul to liars. You don't owe your loyalty to people who treated you like an option. Silence is how you reclaim your dignity, your focus, your hunger. It's how you turn pain into power without wasting a single breath on people who don't deserve to hear you breathe. It's not easy. It's not quick. It's not painless. But it's the only way. You either sit in the silence and become something unbreakable, or you keep talking, keep explaining, keep bleeding for people who never cared if you lived or died. Your choice, your funeral, your resurrection.